Today I'm going to talk to you about servants, the best ones that you want to use in your castle for base defense purposes. I'm not talking about servants to maximize your treasure gain by sending them on missions. This is only about base defense and the ones that you want to either put in a single room by themselves or with lots of others to build a synergy, to basically build a kill room in your treasure hoard so that no one will be able to kill it without a full party of vampires spamming their ultimates. Let's start in tier 1 here. We have the Bomber and the Stalker. Let's talk about them real quick. The Bomber, it has an unfortunate side effect where their bomb will actually hurt your other servants, okay? So you never ever want to put a bomber in a room with other servants. If you have them in a room by themselves, sadly, their DPS is absolutely awful. They are cowardly, so they will run from enemies, but their DPS is so bad, there's no reason to ever use a bomber, so just don't bother with bombers. Now, in Tier 2 and Tier 3, they will throw nets down, which you won't see them do when you fight them, but when you tame them, they will start throwing nets, which can be kind of helpful, but there's way better, there's better servants than net throwers. Now, here's the Stalker. The cool thing about the Stalker, the only cool thing is that they have this spear move that will drag an invader to them. That's it. That can potentially drag them into fire, but the thing is we're going to talk about that too. If someone casts a fire like torch or arrow, and the Stalker's in it, the Stalker's going to die. So just don't bother with Stalkers either. They're not worth it. The Trapper is a more consistent net thrower. However, this is a very small root, and later in the game, if you want a better root, you would get a Priest. A Priest can summon an infinite amount of totems that will bind invaders to the ground. So you don't want to bother with, trappers or thieves. They are not worth using. Also, Deadeyes, while they have really high single target attacks when they are maxed out with full gear, right here, this Deadeye, I know the screen doesn't say it at the top, but there are better archers than the Deadeye, so don't bother with them either. Next up, we have the Guard. The Guard is a very great melee unit that's highly tanky, but it has this smite attack that not only knocks back your enemies, but will also slow them, and it has a very decent melee DPS compared to other characters. When you fully beef one of these out, it is just such a great thing to have in a kill room. I wouldn't put one of these in a solo room. There's just no reason, because even though they're okay solo fighters, there's far better choices. But in a kill room, make sure you have at least 1 or 2 of these guys, and they're going to knock your invaders around. It's really fun. I also forgot to mention, as they are attacked, they will do this blocking kind of shield wall, and whenever you hit them, you will be stunned, and that's just another free stun, especially if you have a few of them in a big pile of people, and whenever the invaders attack, you get a free stun on them. The Militia Longbow is one of the highest DPS servants you can possibly have, but they have one major downside. And that is that they do friendly fire not only to themselves, but to everyone else, including you and your other servants. So the only reason to have a Militia Longbow in your castle is for a solo room where they are completely walled off by themselves, and they won't be able to interact with your other servants or even you. So let me demonstrate. They have this fire arrow explosion skill that just explodes and launches fire everywhere. This is the highest damage ability in the entire game, even stronger than Lightbringers, which I'm going to show later on in the video. And they will constantly spam this fire arrow, just igniting entire rooms up. Alright, before the nerf, where you could put servants behind windows to shoot invaders, these were the highest tier thing to use. Look at this. She just killed her friends over there. It's pretty funny how these archers are. So you definitely want these in your castle, but only in rooms by themselves, okay? Don't put them in your ghoul room, don't put them in your putrid rat rooms, do not put them in your kill room, only by themselves. Next up is the Nun. The Nun is this character right over here casting the Holy Magic. Now, this Holy Magic right here, this is the Nun. She also has a knockback slowing melee attack that cleaves. Alright, and the great thing about the Nun, besides being a support unit, it's high damage. There's no friendly fire, but also if your other servants are damaged, even in the slightest, they immediately start healing. It's an AoE, very fast heal. These things are already top to back off, and they will spam this. I recommend having multiple nuns in your base because they are going to keep all of your servants alive in a kill room. Don't put these by themselves. They are there to support everyone else. The nun is the best healing servant in the game, one of the best supports. Absolutely one of the best things you can load your castle with. Don't get all nuns, because you won't have any offensive capability. But look, I'm just going to slap some of these dudes around, and the nuns are already AoE healing them. The AoE piles stack. Alright, so put 2 or 3 in a kill room. I mean, they're that good. They are that amazing, but those aren't the only healers you're going to have, because you want to stack as many heals as possible. I'm going to talk about that later in the video. Oh, by the way, if you want nuns, go to Dawnbreak Village. There's 3 of them there, and no one ever comes here. There are nuns in the in-game zones, of course, but these are the much easier ones. They're the exact same. You just gear them out, and they will deal the same amount of damage and heal the same amount as the tier 3 ones. Alright, one of the better melee units you can add is the Militia Brawler. This guy is awesome because he has a line attack stun, which can hit multiple opponents, and whenever you tame him in your castle, he does not stun himself. I don't know why that the regular enemy version will stun themselves when they charge, but when this guy is in your castle, he does not stun himself. I don't know if that's a bug or if they're going to patch it, who knows. But he's got decent melee DPS, he's very tanky, he's got a nice fast knockback attack. I put 3 or 4 of these around, and they will just zip around your kill room and stun everybody while your other things just AoE them down. I'm going to talk about AoE damage in just a little bit. Alright, I want to talk about werewolves. I see a lot of castles that are just filled with werewolves, and I want to tell you why they're not good. Werewolves are actually really, really bad. If someone raids your castle during the daytime, they're basic normal villagers, so they're essentially useless. However, in werewolf form, while they do have okay melee DPS, there are others that beat them. Their only utility is that they have a bite attack that they can counter with. Like, after the invader beats on them, they do this roar, and then they'll do a bite attack which will heal them the amount of damage that they bit you for. That's it. That's all the werewolf offers. Yeah, they're kind of tanky, but yeah, and when you pair them with healers, they're going to heal. But yeah, don't bother. Don't bother with the werewolves. And to tame, by the way, to get these, you have to come during the daytime and capture them when they're in villager form. That's the only way to technically get them. I've seen these in a lot of castles because people think it's the meta. I don't know why, but they're terrible defenders. Don't bother. Alright, now these guys are sleepers, okay? Devoteds. I've never seen anyone talk about these. These guys are absolutely amazing. I like to put at least 2 or 3 of them in my kill rooms, okay? They're not great as solo defenders, but these guys are awesome, okay? And what they are is basically they're high DPS melee units. When you start attacking them, or when your invader starts attacking them, they will do these shields, which is a knockback and a slow. And then they switch to this ranged, like, AoE nuker slower debuffer. And here's the cool thing about like, this guy, he's casting this AoE spell whenever they're about half health. So what this means is they retreat. They get out of melee range. And what this means is that your other support units can heal them. This AoE that they're casting, you can't feel the pain because I'm using, you know, a custom lobby. But when you have these guys max geared, this AoE explosion, it's insane damage. It's extremely high. And also, I think it's bugged, but the slow that AoE explosion gives stacks with other slows, which means your invaders essentially are slowed by like 90%. They will be able to barely move at all. Okay, these guys are great because they have extremely high survivability, and they're meleeing me because I'm in their melee range. But if I back off, or if they knock me back, or I get stunned and knocked back by another one, again, they're going into melee because I'm kind of approaching them. But this spell is so amazing. There's no friendly fire with it. It deals tons of damage. These guys are probably one of my favorite things to load up into a castle. They are located here at the Dunley Monastery. I haven't found them anywhere else. I'm sure they exist elsewhere, but this is where I go a lot for Scourge Stones, and this is where I go for my devoted boys. Next up is the Cleric. You're going to want to have at least 2 to 3 of these also in your base. The Cleric is this kind of holy shield looking warrior, and the cool thing about them is they're not the highest DPS. They shoot a holy ranged attack that goes through your own support units, basically, and it does a slow, alright? And the cool thing about the Cleric is as soon as any of your other servants take damage, they shield them. A huge shield. Look at this. Okay, I've hurt this one, and she dashes forward, and shields this unit for way more health than they ever have, okay? When you put maximum gear on a Cleric, the shields that they will give will make your servants almost unkillable from a solo raider, okay? They're gonna have to ult many times and kill your servants before the Cleric can get the shield off. But also the Cleric does some other things too, I believe. I'm pretty sure they have a channeled heal. So let's see. Yeah, that's a channeled heal. So this heal, it does take them out of combat because they're, you know, having to hold the heal for the unit. But this heal stacks with your nuns heals, okay? But your nuns are going to heal your unit so fast they won't be healing very longer. But this AoE shield is the entire reason you want a bunch of clerics, okay? They basically, they also buff units too, by the way. I know you can't really see it here, but they do increase their damage slightly. It's really hard to tell unless you're actually invading a castle with clerics, because they're going to be hitting you, and then after the clerics, you know, cast their spells, they hit you much harder. Well, not that much harder, but it's a little bit hard. It's worth it. Just get 3 to 4 of these bad boys, or girls, or whatever they are, and yeah, your people are going to be basically invincible. Alright, I want to talk about the Paladin, okay? A lot of people really like to put Paladins in their castle, but I'm going to tell you right now, the guard that I showed you earlier not only has higher DPS than the Paladin, he does have a lower health pool than the Paladin, but he has a higher DPS, and he does the same thing, he just knocks you back. All the Paladin does is he does like cleaving knockback slows, he does a dash, he does an AoE holy attack, and like a fanning attack. The Paladins, they're not, I like guards better, but if you want Paladins for, you know, the splashy explodiness of it, whereas guards will just constantly run at your opponent's face and basically be kind of like a off-tank of sorts, okay? But Paladins do have a nice health pool. Unfortunately, heals in this game are not percentage-based, they are flat rate-based. And Paladins, they don't really do much. They don't support other units. They're not going to heal or buff for anyone. They're just purely offensive units. I know in MMORPGs, most Paladins are like kind of off healers or kind of buffers or support classes, but these are just raw two-handed melee like barbarians of sorts, okay? I think guards are way better than Paladins, but it's really up to you, whatever you prefer. I would rather have guards. Alright, so the Lightweaver, everyone thinks that this thing is the top tier, bestest thing you can possibly put in your castle. People will only put Lightweavers in their castle. These things are essentially just holy mages of sorts. They do pretty okay, not by themselves. They need to be in a kill room if you just have them in a solo room. They also don't do very good in very small kill rooms. They need lots and lots of space to run around and evade and avoid the enemy gankers, okay? They do an AoE damage attack. They do kind of a shotgun attack like so. They're also kind of evasive. Like, if someone is standing in their face, they will hit every single orb. These AoE explosions do not do friendly fire. They also teleport around and shoot these orbs, but they don't. It's not a super high DPS. It's fun to have a bunch of these. I'll admit, this is the most fun servant to have. When you have like 6 of these running around in a kill room just spamming spells, it is absolutely gorgeous, and things will die from it. But just having one sucks. So either get a bunch of these or get none at all. Also, this one's, oh, I thought it was 100% for a second there. I was gonna be like, ooh, 100% Scholar. So yeah, Lightweaver, I don't think they're the best thing. They don't heal, they don't really support. They're just little holy mages, that's all they are. I would pass on these. I would rather have more technical units. Alright, so let's talk about priests. Priests, they're not the best healers. They are very crappy mages. They have a channeled heal over time on a single target that barely heals at all. I think it's like maybe 10 or 15%. It's really crappy, but they have one very niche specialty. And I have a Light Warden that's on me again. But you see these little totems here? I don't know what these are called. They don't have a name. But if you stand near them, they will hold you in place. Okay, and they will consistently hold you in place. So, if you have a very confined kill room and you have at least like 2 to 3 priests, like, these things have no limit. One priest can summon an infinite amount of these things, and they just persist for a very long time. I don't know how long. I know that if I log out for a while, they'll go away. But if you want priests, it's a very good... They start building these little walls, and it makes it really hard to move around. So, they're great for that. Now, of course, as a vampire, you have a dodge, you have your slashers, and in which case, as long as you're still moving, well, only when you're out of dodges and you're slash your E can you not be grabbed by these things. But they're very handy to have. Now the priests, like I said, they are a single target healer, and the heals do stack with other units. Though I think you could have more valuable space, but it's up to you. If you want to have these little weird totems that hold things down while everything else blasts them with AoE nukes, that's a potential thing. I don't know if it's the best or if it's not worth having. It's up to you. Just play around with the priests. That sounds kind of weird. And see if you like them or not. Alright, this is for people on a PvE server. Okay, the Torchbearer, probably the coolest unit because they'll walk around your entire castle with a torch and it just lights up the place. So it's basically like a walking flashlight. Yeah, kind of a joke entry there. Now, there's actually villagers that will have torches, okay? The villagers that have torches actually deal they deal the highest fire damage in the game, but it's a small circle. Okay, and they used to be able to throw torches through the walls, and I think they patched that because I haven't seen any of mine do it in a while on a server I play on, but they used to be able to throw the torch through the wall. It was a small little circle, but it dealt 50% more damage than the Militia Archer, or the Militia Longbow. So I don't know where those are at. They're somewhere in the tier 2 zone. They're really hard to find. It's just a villager that carries a torch, and they will throw the torch at you and cause a small circle to burn underneath you. The fire damage is the highest in the game. It's so weird that the villager has the highest DPS for fire. But the problem with them is that they have such a low health pool that they're just not worth having. And the only reason people use them like myself was because they used to be able to throw torches through walls, which means that you could have an unrateable base. I never made a video on that, by the way, so don't worry about trying to search my channel for some torch villager glitch because I never made it. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Hopefully this helped you pick out some nice servants. Okay, again, this is only for base defense. Maybe they'll add more functionality to the servants, or let us have more servants. Or let us take servants along with us when we just go out in the world to like PvP or grab some loot or whatever. That would be really, really cool. Also, one other honorable mention is Greatsword Knights. I'd raided a base that had like 3 clerics, 3 nuns, and like 4 of these damn Greatsword Knights. Okay, and these things, they have a high health pool, they have a very large cleave AoE, they attack pretty fast. Okay, they also do combos, but the problem I had with them is due to their shielding and constant healing, the person I raided, I couldn't kill them. They had too many of these knights. Imagine having like 5 of these dudes just slamming into you, okay? Not footmen, not spearmen, not riflemen, okay? Riflemen are not bad. I raided one castle that had all riflemen, and as soon as I broke through their main door, they just all, firing squatted my golem down. And then whenever I tried to fight them, I was dodging and, doing the usual combos to clear them. And they all managed, 5 of them managed to drop my health really low. I had to retreat. Luckily, the person wasn't online to defend his base. So eventually I was able to, take all his stuff. But it was still pretty tough. Okay, it was still very annoying to fight against an all-rifleman base. So yeah, guys, that's the video. I'm SwolBenji. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming to hang out with me today. As always, be a bro and stay swole. Leave a like if you found this video useful. Leave some comments. Talk to me about what kind of servants do you use. I'm curious. Tell me what servants that you prefer. What's your servant setup? What's your perfect ratio of nuns to clerics? Okay. Do you use any of the tier 1 servants at all? Do you find them useful? Like the thief has an incapacitate. I don't think they're that good though, to be honest. Also, make sure you're subscribed because I make a video every single day on this channel. And you don't want to miss tomorrow's video because it'll probably be a good one. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But make sure you're subscribed. And if you found this video very helpful and you have lots of money, please support me by clicking that thanks button. I really appreciate the cash tip. And if you want to, become a channel member, that's like being on Twitch, $5 a month. Click the join button. You get access to private, more personal videos. Okay, like if I find an exploit or a dupe method in this game, I'm not taking it public. It's gonna be there in the members only videos, alright? So again, thank you guys so much. Come back tomorrow for another video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.